this video specifically, I am going to do some comparisons to some like it. But for the most part, overall that is, this video is my take, and in a brief way, others that pretty much either inspired it, or came after, or even set the stage for movies like this. The movie is, of course, the movie is called Olympus Has Fallen. I do have a hard time with some of the critics calling this Die Hard in the White House, because if nothing else, as good as the Die Hard movies were, there is so much more to this movie. There's not just the killings and the action and all that stuff. I mean, some would say Gerard Butler pretty much takes the place of Bruce Willis, but he's actually trying to save the White House and the president, which in some ways he is, but there's a lot more to the story than you might think. That having been said, the cast, I don't know how they got this good of a cast. We've got a stand-in president, played once again by Morgan Freeman. If you remember him from Deep Impact, he did play the president in that as well. Standing in for Aaron Eckhart as the primary president. When the White House gets taken over, I really don't want to say hijacked, because that does not sound right. The only thing is, this particular movie, well, I have seen movies like it, and I've seen everything from terrorist takeovers to political thrillers. I mean, take your pick. I've seen a lot of both, to say the least. On that note, I still say that Die Hard at the White House is a very unfair observation, regardless whether or not it comes from a critic or not. But then again, we all know what critics think of movies, because a lot of times if they don't find anything original, they're going to trash it anyway. I, on the other hand, I'm not an expert critic, but like I said, I think I know more of what audiences look for in movies, original or not, cliched or not, than some of the so-called experts out there. And like I said, so-called. That having been said, I did end up seeing this twice in theaters. Once again with my friend who's now out of state. A lot of the movies that I'm going to be reviewing on here, at least at first, are going to be ones that I've seen recently with him. And for the most part, I had a good time watching movies with him. He's just a lot of fun to hang out with, to say the least. And, after, I thought it was kind of risky to make a movie like this, but for the most part, I'm glad that it was made the way it was, and that it did not, I mean, let me start by saying this. This movie may have come way, way after Air Force One as the president. But in some ways, I think Air Force One set the stage for this, as well as White House Down. That having been said, all three movies are very, very good for their own criteria, or for their own merits, should I say. Some of them have different kinds of villains, some of them have different motives, but either way, you're not going to like the terrorists/villains in any of these movies, because I sure didn't. The main terrorist, I'm not even sure if we can see him in here. And what do you know? We can't. The beginning of the takeover, it does not look so much implausible, but let's just hope that the government, there's just too many ways that, I mean, I don't want to say that these movies couldn't happen. Let's just hope that the takeover is not as easy as they make it look between this movie and White House Down. That's all I can say. Now, as good as both of these movies are, there's things about them, both, that, I hate to say it, some of them look rather convincing, some of them don't. And on that note, well, like I said, this movie is pretty good, and White House Down is also good for its own merits, but, part of what makes this work is the fact that it's by director Anton Fuqua, I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name right, who also directed Training Day. Another one with Denzel Washington, who I'd never seen him play a role like that before, to say the least. As far as I can tell, the creators and screenplay writers and all that stuff, as far as I can tell, even if they added stuff to the White House itself, as far as I can tell, from making the featurettes on the Blu-ray, they definitely did their homework, and they made it look as realistic as possible, and for that I commend them. But, I don't want to go too much into the plot, because frankly, some of my videos have been too long-winded already, and I do not want to continue that. I pretty much want to simplify the movie, my take on it, why I thought it was good, all that other stuff. But like I said, once again, don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. On that note, even the cast makes it worth your time. But you kind of have to suspend disbelief a little bit with all three of these movies that I just mentioned. I mean, between Air Force One, White House Down, and even this one, you kind of have to suspend disbelief a little bit. Not a lot, but a little. On that note, if you've seen it, by all means, make a comment. But once again, respect my opinion, but give a reason for yours. Either way. Please don't just tell me I dislike or dislike or agree, but give me a reason why you didn't like it. My review or the movie or both. I'm really not worried about it either way. On that note, thanks again and take care. Check them out.